Hey y'all, it's Robert, and today at the Sweet Unpacked, we're making another character cake. These are my absolute favorite cakes to make, and this time we're making Kafka, who is the main protagonist from the anime Kaiju No. 8. To start this cake, I needed to make sure that I had a really good base, so I'm going to attach a threaded rod to a wooden cake board, and then I'm going to cover that threaded rod with aluminum tape because I want to make sure that everything is going to be food safe. Now that I have the base of the cake done, I'm going to start working on the cake layers, and I'm going to level and tort vanilla confetti cakes, and I have some sheet cakes and also some 8-inch and 6-inch cakes for this. I'm leveling and torting each of the cakes, and then I'm adding simple syrup because this is going to be a cake that I have to carve, and I want to make sure that it doesn't dry out as I work on it. Now it's time to stack this cake, and I'm adding vanilla buttercream in between each of the layers, and then I'm also going to add some support dowels because this cake is going to be pretty tall, and I want to make sure that everything is going to be supported. Now that I have all the cake layers stacked, I can now start carving it. So I'm using a serrated knife to do this, and I'm looking at a picture of Kafka and trying to get it as close as I can to that character. I definitely have to add a crumb coat now, and this is just a very thin layer of buttercream to make sure that those crumbs I made from carving don't end up in the final coat. So for my final coat, like all my character cakes, I'm going to be using chocolate ganache. I'm using a 3-to-1 ratio of chocolate to cream, mixing this all together until it's combined, and then I'm going to add that to the cake using a piping bag. While the ganache is setting, I'm going to start preparing my modeling chocolate because that's how I'm designing this cake. So I'm just going to knead it to make sure that it's easy to work with, and then roll it out and then add that to the cake. But first I have to steam it just to make sure that the modeling chocolate actually sticks. The cake is covered in a base of modeling chocolate, so now I'm going to take different modeling tools and start sculpting this cake. And I'm going to make sure that I define the pecs and then also start working on the face by marking the eyes and the nose. I'm also using more modeling chocolate to create those horns on his face and also the plates on his back. The hardest part about sculpting this character is his teeth. There's so many of them and they're all really defined, so I'm trying to make sure that I spend a lot of time on this part to make sure that I get it as close as I can to the character. Now that I've finished sculpting everything, I can now start adding color to this cake, and I'm using edible paint to do this, and I only need to use 3 colors. To add more detail and dimension to the character, I'm using some black petal dust on his eyes and also between his teeth, and it really makes all these features pop. The last thing I need to do is add his collarbone, and I'm using modeling chocolate to do this. So check it out, this is the Kaiju No. 8 cake complete. This cake was definitely one of the more difficult cakes that I've done, and there are a few parts of this cake that I wish I got just a little bit better, like his teeth. I wish they all were really sharp, but overall I still think I did a really good job with this cake. So if you all enjoyed this, make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if there's any other cakes that you want to see me make sure that you leave those in the comments below. And until then, I'll see y'all in the next video.